The movie centers around a guy named Woo Jin, who discovers on his 18th birthday that he suffers from a rare condition where he wakes up with a different face and body every morning. Initially shocked and puzzled by this, Woo Jin confides in his mother, Mun Suk, who eventually accepts him for who he is. He also shares his secret with his childhood friend, Sang Baek, who supports him. With their encouragement, Woo Jin begins to embrace his truth and adapt to living with his unique condition. Every day, he wakes up in a new body, sometimes male, sometimes female, old, young, or even of a different nationality. Despite these changes, he remains the same person on the inside. Woo Jin records his experiences each morning to keep track of his life and the different personas he inhabits in a computer. Every day presents a new challenge for Woo Jin as he adjusts to being a different person each morning. From body type to eyesight and voice, he must constantly acclimate to his changing physical form. To facilitate this transition, he maintains a diverse collection of clothes, shoes, and toiletries suitable for any gender or age. Woo Jin's home is equipped with tools like a phoropter to test his vision and a foot measuring device for selecting the right shoes. Woo Jin and Sang Baek run a furniture company called ALX, specializing in high-end custom-made furniture. Woo Jin designs the furniture while Sang Baek manages manufacturing and sales, allowing Woo Jin to work discreetly from home without revealing his condition to others. One day, Woo Jin encounters Isu, a beautiful girl working at a furniture store, and is captivated by her beauty, intelligence, and kindness. He begins visiting the store daily to see her, assuming different avatars each time without her knowledge. Despite his changing appearance, Isu consistently treats him with kindness and respect. Woo Jin waits for a day when he wakes up as a handsome guy to finally ask Isu out on a date. He takes her to the ALX factory for their first date, knowing she admires the company's products. They enjoy sushi together and have a great time. Woo Jin continues to ask Isu out on subsequent dates, hoping to meet her consistently as the same person. As the days pass, Woo Jin becomes increasingly sleep-deprived, staying awake to avoid waking up as someone else. Despite the strain, their relationship deepens, and they become inseparable. However, one day Woo Jin falls asleep on the metro and wakes up as someone new. Fearing he might scare Isu, he cancels their date and decides to end things. Unable to stay away, Woo Jin continues to text Isu and even surprises her with custom-made furniture that impresses her boss. To be close to Isu, he applies for a part-time job at her workplace disguised as a girl, befriending her and eventually asking her out to dinner after work. At the ALX factory, Woo Jin gathers the courage to reveal his true identity and condition to Isu, hoping she will accept him for who he is. He shows her the videos he recorded on his laptop to her, where he talks about her. He tells her about the conversions they had over dinner about antique furniture, guitars, and music. However, Isu finds it hard to believe and thinks it is some sick prank being played on her. She tells Woo Jin to never contact her again and storms out of the warehouse. Woo Jin breaks into tears and drowns in despair. Isu soon starts missing Woo Jin and begins to wonder what if he was telling her the truth. The table that he had gifted her reminds her of him every day. One day, she decides to go meet him and drops by his home. Woo Jin opens the door as a girl and the two have dinner. Woo Jin explains his condition to her and Isu decides to sleep with him so she could see Woo Jin waking up as a different person. Before sleeping, Woo Jin tells her more about his condition and how he copes with it. He reveals that he is 29 years old. He had made peace with his condition, but ever since he met her, it has gotten even more difficult to live with the condition. He tried to stay away from her, but he just couldn't resist. Isu wakes up the next day to find the same girl she had dinner with the other day sleeping next to her. She lets Woo Jin sleep and goes through his clothes, shoes, and videos on his laptop. When Woo Jin wakes up, he wakes up as a boy. Isu finally believes his claim and starts to accept him for who he is on the inside. They again start to meet every day, and Woojin is elated to meet the same girl he likes for more than a week. They go to different places and talk about silly things. She gets used to Woojin one day waking up as a middle-aged man and some other day as a child. Meanwhile, Woojin feels safe around her and has not known loneliness in a long time. To find each other in the crowd, Woojin holds Isu's hand to let her know that it's him. With Woojin spending most of his time with Isu, he starts slacking on the work front. Sangbak starts complaining to him about his lack of attention to his designs. Woojin assures him that he will refocus his energy on work. With Woojin struggling at work, Isu pitches a new idea to him. She advises him to start the second ADX line with standardized sizes at moderate prices. This would give more people access to the ALX world and open new doors for the company. Woojin loves the idea, which surprises Sangbak because Woojin always shoots down any new ideas he pitches. One day, Isu's furniture studio throws a party and Woojin gets an invitation. Isu's boss is excited to meet Isu's ALX boyfriend. She is also interested in meeting him because everyone describes a different person when talking about Isu's boyfriend. Unfortunately, on the day of the party, Woojin wakes up as an old woman. He goes back to sleep and fortunately wakes up as a decent-looking man. Woojin finally arrives at the party and holds Isu's hand to let her know that it is him. Isu finally gets her co-workers off her back about wanting to meet her boyfriend, and the pair have a great time at the party. The next day, Woojin takes Isu to meet his mother Mun-suk at her shop. Mun-suk is happy that her son has finally found someone he could spend the rest of his life with. She gives them her best wishes and hopes that they won't end up hurting each other. It is not always sunshine and rainbows for the couple. One time, Woojin upsets Isu when he randomly holds her hand in a crowd with a new and unknown face, freaking her out. Seeing her hurt, he apologizes to her and promises to never do it again. Seeing the two head over heels for each other, Sangbak asks his friend why he hasn't proposed marriage to Isu yet. Woojin too had been thinking about proposing to her, but had always been on the fence about it. With Sangbak's encouragement, he decides to propose his Isu. He works really hard to custom design a ring for her. Meanwhile, people begin to gossip about Isu after seeing her out with a different man every day. This starts to take a toll on her mental health, and she increasingly becomes forgetful. She begins to take pills to cope with her stress, anxiety, and insomnia. Amidst all this, Woojin broaches the topic of marriage to Isu, and as expected, she isn't so keen on marriage right now. She tells him that there are many things to consider before getting married. She says that every time he looks in the mirror each morning, he needs time to accept himself, to test his vision, and to measure his feet. Similarly, she needs time to think about marrying all those different people. She also can't imagine how she's going to introduce him to her parents. Isu's response really upsets Woojin. He had thought that they were on the same page, but it seems they are reading two different books. The conversion overwhelms Isu, and she takes a high dosage of her pills. She falls ill and is rushed to the hospital. Woojin learns that she had been taking risperidone pills for her stress and sleeplessness. He also finds an audio message of Isu's psychiatrist advising her to not see Woojin for some time for her mental health. Woojin is taken aback by all these revelations. He wonders if it was her fault for not telling him, or if he was too blind to notice that Isu had been silently suffering. He eventually concludes that he was the one who was blinded by fantasy. Woojin can't seem to find a way out of this and goes to meet his mother. Mun-suk tells him that she had expected this would happen one day or another. She tells him that Isu will be fine as long as Woojin and her aren't together. Puzzled, Woojin asks her what she's talking about. She then reveals that Woojin inherited this condition from his father. Mun-suk loved Woojin's father dearly at first, but people began gossiping. They accused her of being promiscuous. She tried to ignore it, but one day, Woo Jin's father disappeared. He left her a letter, apologizing to her for making her life hell. Woo Jin is moved to tears by the revelation, and he starts wondering if Tu has to leave Lee-soo for her betterment. After Lee-soo is discharged from the hospital, Woo Jin meets her for the last time and breaks up with her. He tells her that it is the right choice and asks her to stop taking those pills before disappearing from her life. The breakup devastates Lee-soo and she thinks about Woo Jin every day. 10 months pass by. Lee-soo can now sleep without pills, but she still dearly misses Woo Jin. One day, Lee-soo's boss shows her furniture designs from a Czech website and asks her to find the designer's contact details. Lee-soo notices Woo Jin's trademark style in those designs and suspects that he is the designer. She then goes to meet Sang-baek in his office. However, Sang-baek acts cold towards her and refuses to talk to her about the designs and Woo Jin. Before leaving, Lee-soo notices a cargo box shipped from the Czech Republic in Sang-baek's office, further confirming her suspicions that Woo Jin is in the Czech Republic. Realizing that being away from Woo Jin hurts her more than people's gossip, Lee-soo flies to Czech Republic. An unknown Korean man answers the door at the website's address. He denies knowing anyone by the name of Kim Woo Jin, but Lee-soo asks to see the man's furniture collection for her store. Inside, she notices shoes of different sizes and gender, further confirming that the man is Woo Jin. She expresses her love for him and tells him that she wants to spend the rest of her life with him. Coming clean as Woo Jin, he tells her that he doesn't want to make her sick again. Lee-soo tells him she knows that being with him is going to be challenging, but being without him is much worse. The two break into tears. After collecting themselves, they then go out for a walk in the Czech Republic's picturesque capital. Lee-soo tells him that she doesn't care if he changes every day and she loves the Kim Woo Jin inside him. The movie ends with Woo Jin taking out the ring he had made earlier in the film and finally putting it on her finger. The end.